All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to a brand new explainer. Today, we're opening up a pretty fascinating workplace case file, or what you might call a bản phân tích, to forensically break down the absolute anatomy of a corporate cover-up. We're zeroing in on the events from clip 045, known as the client list that changed overnight. I'm going to walk you through this step by step, nice and calm, because the lessons buried in the specific office drama, they're literally essential if you want to understand how modern deception actually works. Picture this. It's 8:03 a.m. Strategy lead Maya Carter sits at her desk, probably hasn't even finished her first coffee yet, right? She opens up the recovery dashboard and immediately spots something totally off. 5 specific clients. Clients who, mind you, had just been absolutely furious, demanding escalation, were suddenly sitting right there in this satisfied column. And the crazy part? There's no dramatic music, no alarm bells, just a quiet, tiny little data point that somehow shifted in the middle of the night. So that kicks off part 1, the altered client list, and how a seemingly minor administrative change can hide a massive problem. To really get what's happening here, we have to face a hard truth about corporate life today. The biggest dangers, they don't announce themselves. You don't get a villain dramatically kicking down the boardroom doors. Nope, they hide in the incredibly boring, mundane administrative details that everyone is frankly just too tired to double-check. So how did this list actually change? It wasn't Victor or Martin logging in and making edits. No, the culprit used a generic service account. Basically, that's an automated shared system account that isn't tied to any single human being. By using this generic login overnight, whoever did this made a deliberate, sneaky action look exactly like a routine system update. It completely erases the fingerprints of the person actually pulling the strings. Which brings us perfectly to our next section, the official cover story, or when closure just becomes a cover page. Look, every cover-up needs a good story, right? The executive team, spearheaded by Victor, immediately goes into damage control mode. They start using that super soft, polished corporate speak. You know the type, talking about a fresh start, a governance reset, urging everyone to enjoy a healing period and move past the friction. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Well, let's match those shiny words against the cold data. The official line from Victor's operations team confidently claimed the updated list reflected positive sentiment from recent calls. But the system reality? An audit showed those exact same clients had explicitly demanded written corrections just days before. So the official story wasn't just spinning things positively, it was a complete fabrication, basically cooked up just to look good for an upcoming board review. I really want to pause on this incredible insight from Maya Carter. The dangerous documents never look dangerous first. I mean, that just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The lie didn't show up looking like a threat. It arrived politely, dressed up as business continuity and routine maintenance. Maya's been around the block, and she knows that when an explanation feels just a little too perfectly smooth, you don't argue with the person talking, you go read the timestamp. So, how do we catch them? Let's get into following the digital trail and mapping the evidence. Maya and her audit team are smart. They know that getting into a shouting match with Victor is a trap. He is way too good at optics and stalling. Instead, they need undeniable digital facts to box the lie in. Enter Maya's proof map. It's elegantly simple, honestly, and totally forensic. Step 1, what exactly changed? Step 2, who changed it? And step 3, the kicker. Who actually benefits from that change? She walks her team through this exact 3-step method. No pointing fingers, no raising voices, just quietly tracking pure accountability. And Maya doesn't do this solo. This is a brilliant collaborative audit. You've got Aisha checking the super fine print and spotting a metadata mismatch. Boom, that instantly proves the official timeline is totally false. Then Nina goes digging into background calendar records, uncovering a hidden paper trail the perpetrators completely forgot to delete. Finally, Jordan, the IT audit specialist, pulls system logs and forwarded call notes from Daniel Reed. Those notes proved, in writing, that the clients were demanding corrections. Every single person on the team found a crucial piece of the puzzle. Which leads to this absolute gem of a quote from Aisha Morgan. I am new enough to still read the parts everyone calls standard. Think about how true that is. It really shows the massive value of having fresh eyes on a problem. In almost any organization, the veterans have practically been trained not to look at the standard, boring procedures anymore. Aisha caught the lie precisely because she hadn't yet been conditioned to ignore the fine print. All right, the trap is set. Let's move to confronting the evidence, where the background record enters the room. So the boardroom meeting kicks off. Victor's operations guy, Martin Shaw, starts doing exactly what you'd expect. He's softening the verbs, talking about optics, trying to brush it all off as a minor misunderstanding. But Maya, she's not having a bar of it. And this is where jaws drop. She lays out a forensic timeline. Event 1. Clients demand a written correction securely logged in Daniel Reed's notes. Event 2. Martin Shaw's physical ID badge scans into the building after hours. Event 3. At that exact, precise second, the generic service account logs in from the executive floor and alters the client list. Bam! They perfectly match the time Martin's physical badge hit the door to the exact second that generic account manipulated the data. Maya just methodically strips away every single excuse using nothing but hard documents. Like IT specialist Jordan Price says, this is not suspicion, this is sequence. That distinction is a total game changer. The proof here isn't based on some office rumor or a bad gut feeling. It's mechanical, it's dated, and it is perfectly repeatable. What they tried to pass off as a harmless admin glitch was actually a highly calculated, deliberate design to hijack the board's narrative. With the truth out in the open, we pivot to fixing the broken system and how to write repair right into the architecture. Of course, the executives immediately try to sweep it under the rug. They offer Martin a quiet, private reprimand just to make the whole headache go away. But Maya refuses, flat out, because as she puts it, do not quietly fix what can publicly teach. Think about it. If you just give someone a slap on the wrist behind closed doors, your system is still completely vulnerable to the exact same exploit tomorrow. The system itself has to be fortified. You have to take that failure and use it as a public lesson, making sure the next lie is infinitely harder to pull off. So, what's her actual play here? She rolls out a strict systemic repair protocol, and the steps are rock solid. First, they publish strict, unarguable definitions for client health. No more gray areas. Second, an absolute freeze on manual status reclassifications. So, no more magically dragging an angry client into the happy column just to make your numbers look good. And third, requiring direct, written client confirmation for any status shift. Just like that, the administrative loophole is permanently shut. Now, I want to turn this back to you for a second. Think about your own workplace. How easily could a systemic flaw be used to hide a human mistake or a deliberate lie? Are there random generic accounts just floating around your network? Are there loose, undefined metrics that magically get optimized right before quarterly reviews? It is definitely worth taking a hard look at how vulnerable your own systems might be to someone trying to quietly control the story. I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful takeaway from today's explainer. A client column is never just a column when bonuses, blame, and truth depend on it. Corporate data is literally never neutral, guys. Remember to always follow the record, not the noise. The truth doesn't live in polished PR statements. It lives in the timestamps, the metadata, and the badge logs. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Honestly, I bet you're going to look at your own spreadsheets a little differently today, aren't you? Catch you next time.